Hmm. Welcome back to the Shy City Boys. I am your co-host Carl Liza. With me, as always, is Jack Thiel. Jack, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing good, man. It's negative wind chills here in Chicago. I hate it. Walking to class is kind of like a suicide watch at this point for me. It is way too cold out, but we're chilling with my Entourage shirt from the company Almost Friday, one of the coolest companies. They make shirts that have kind of iconic movies.
No plugs.
It's not a plug. I'm just saying. And if you've never seen the show Entourage, go watch it now. It's one of the best shows. Probably one of the biggest fans of the show. I love it. But yeah, we're feeling good. A little chilly out. I don't really want to go outside, but I might have to later tonight. But it's going. We need it to get warmer. But that's all I got.
Well, since you brought up Almost Friday, I'm going to bring up Almost Monday, an alternative rock band. Great music. Go check them out.
Wait, didn't we see them before AJR?
They opened up for AJR, yeah.
You still listen to them?
Hell yeah.
I remember that. Music. That was before AJR.
Yeah, they got some good music.
What are we doing?
So go check them out.
Are we just doing a bunch of plugins this episode?
No, but let's get into what we were talking about. Let's talk about the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, let's talk about them.
They've had not a great week as the last couple of weeks. We lost, let's see, DeMar was out for rest. Caruso's out with a wrist injury. He had successful surgery, I heard.
He did.
And then who else we missing?
Lonzo,
he's out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Patrick Williams.
Unbelievable.
Levine and Green just came back last night, though, so that's good.
Oh, by the way, fuck Grayson Allen.
I think we should keep things a little PG, Carl.
I don't care.
Nah, he should be executed. I think he needs to be.
Whoa. You said keep it PG, and you go there.
I think that he's a little atrocious crybaby that has mentally ill problems.
He was a dirty player in college. He's a dirty player in the NBA.
I don't know
the crazy thing is he was laughing about it once it happened.
I don't know what Coach K taught his kids at Duke. But at the end of the day, very unnecessary by him. It's I get it, you're trying to make a play, but at the end of the day, if you're 6 foot, you should not be jumping up and trying to make blocks. It's utterly ridiculous. It's really, I'm not trying to say it sucks that it wasn't a good, or it was to a good player, not a bad player, but like, Caruso, in my opinion, is the heart of the Bulls. He really makes his team run, and you could tell it was really bothering him after it, and he still played the whole game, but
which is crazy.
It's tough for him because, he was out with a hammy, and then he got COVID, and then he finally comes back, and then he gets hurt. It's
and the Milwaukee Bucks media team are laughing about it.
It's tough.
That's very unprofessional.
I think at the end of the day, we're glad it's not the full season.
Yeah.
He'll be back before the playoffs. I think really for the Bulls right now is for them to finish in the top 4 with all these injuries going on. Obviously,
speaking of that,
we
did drop out of first place. We're now second place, right behind the Miami Heat.
Oh yeah, I'm not shocked. It's these injuries are catching up to the Bulls.
Yeah,
and over the time they had to play teams like the Nets, the Warriors, and even the Celtics, and who they just played, the Milwaukee. Milwaukee.
Like you just mentioned.
And they even beat the Cavs when they were hurt, which was a nice point. But it's so, we know what the Bulls are full strength, and it's a team that barely has played full strength, but it's a team that I am confident in putting money on to go to the finals with full strength. And no injury has made any of these guys out for the year. If all goes well, every guy that started the year with the Bulls will be on the Bulls when the playoff, unless the trade happens. I'm talking about guys injured. They will be on the Bulls when the playoffs start, and that's what's most important. And this is your chance to step up. This is really Kobe White and Io. If you want to name two guys who really could use a chance to show what they're made of, it's these two guys right here.
Speaking of Io, he had a career night last night with a career high of 24 points and the best rookie starting shooting since I'm blanking on the name.
Sure he's the best. I'm pretty sure he is the best in general.
He started 9 for 9 in the game.
Yeah,
and he's a very smart player. He's a very smart shooter. He doesn't take many bad shots. For the past couple games, when he takes a shot, it goes in.
Yeah,
he has the best 3-point shooting for a rookie this year also.
Yeah, I think, one thing we're seeing is that, how good the Bulls are, you can't play 5-on-5. It's too hard. You're going to have to hedge or play help defense on guys like Vuk and Levine and DeRozan. And now Io is creating more problems. A guy who's really, learned from DeMar DeRozan. He's got a nice mid-range game. And, that's one thing, not even one, but two NBA All-Star veterans have said about Io, that he's a guy who wants to learn. And he's really taken upon himself to be inserted into the starting lineup. And, possibly, I don't think he'll win Rookie of the Year, but, be in that conversation at least. So he's a second-round pick. He's a steal. But, this is a role for him to really thrive with Ball and Caruso out. He's really going to be asked upon to put up probably 10 points a game now. And that's nothing. Obviously he's a rookie, and rookies, they have their moments where they can shine and they have their moments where they can fall. But I think, it's promising to see that he's really learning and adapting to the game, and that, guys around him are teaching him things that from their game. It's hard to not learn from guys like Levine, DeRozan, and Vuk, three guys that are perennial at their, positions. And I think for Io, this is just huge for him going up to in his career. I believe he's only like 20, 21. But
absolutely,
at the end of the day, that's the thing. He's going to want to play for Chicago as long as he wants, probably. Io doesn't seem like the guy that wants money. He wants money.
He's a team first guy.
Yeah, he's a guy who would take a reduced amount of money on his contract if the Bulls were to keep a guy like DeRozan or even Levine or sign someone big. So, I think this is really impressive by Io so far. I hope it continues, but I do expect teams to play better defense on him, and we'll see how he responds to it. But right now he's looking really good, and he's really helped the Bulls this year. And,
absolutely, he helped the Bulls a lot. So I heard you talk about Vooch earlier. Let's talk about him. He had 26 points last night with, I think, a double-double. Now with DeMar out, or he'll be playing, but with Levine out, with Ball out, Levine's back, Caruso's out. We need Vooch to be the big man that we got him for last year.
Yeah, Caruso.
He needs to step up.
Vukovic is more inconsistent and shaky than girls on Tinder recently. I don't get it about. I don't get he's good, but like when he is off, he looks terrible, and he was really bad against the Magic. And he came out last night and he showed that. I think, being where you basically played your NBA career and you basically got owned by a guy who the Bulls traded you for. Yeah. He's just, when he misses, he's really off. I don't think I've really seen Vuk have a close miss yet. It's really, he makes it or he's really off. But, I think the one thing for Vukovic is that he really is only going to play better when he has the guys around him. And I think it's harder for Vuk to play when you don't have a 3-point shooter out there. Yeah. With guys like Levine, who stretches the floor because he's a 3-level scorer at all elite level, Vukovic isn't able to, do that pick and roll because they're not worried about it, Mm-hmm. So I feel like really Zach LaVine makes the motor of Vukovic going. And that sucks to say because, Vuk is an all-star, but at the end of the day, you can really see that Vukovic feeds off of guys like Zach LaVine and Kobe White. Nothing against DeMar DeRozan, but it's just so tough for Vuk to do anything inside when DeRozan's inside himself. Because when Vukovic is inside the paint, his guy's going to come off him and double team DeRozan. So I just think for Vuk, just keep working at it. He's not bad. I understand he has some rough games. That happens. But I think at the end of the day, he's going to be fine. I think people might be overreacting with him, and he's a huge part of this team, and we're not going to go anywhere without him, really.
Okay.
Especially
So
in the
let's talk about the rest of the games this week. Of course, the Bulls won by 1 last night against OKC.
That was pitiful.
Way closer than it should have been.
No, absolutely.
So Wednesday we have the Raptors in town.
That's a good game.
It should be a good game.
They are fully healthy for one of the first times in history.
And they're 500 right now.
Rookie of the year favorite in Scotty Barnes. Fred Van Vliet has been terrific this year.
Might be an all-star.
And Pascal Siakam, he's really good. I think he's a poor man's Giannis, but he's a really good poor man's Giannis.
He had an off year last year, and I think he's building himself back up this year.
I think this is a game where Vuk can really take over as well. I think this is a game where we're going to have to really see Levine and Vuk take over. It's a winnable. We should win this game. We're at home.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing against the Raptors, but these are the games you got to win.
Absolutely. So that's Wednesday night. Friday night, we go to San Antonio against the Spurs, and they are currently 13 games under 500.
I think Stacey King said it best these last 2 nights. These young teams are hungry. And when you got the Bulls coming in town now, and DeRozan now, who was the ex-Spur, a little emotion is going to be involved. And, DeJounte Murray has looked nice. Derek White has looked very nice. Jakob Poeltl, I think his name is. He's like very nice now. Well, I think that'll be a good test for Vucevic. So, these young teams are really they get excited when the Bulls come to town. This could be the DeMar DeRozan revenge game, and we'll see. But I wouldn't sleep on the Spurs. They can easily win a game. They can easily lose a game. They've got some potential elite talent in a couple of years.
Yeah. So, and you can never count out Pop.
Yeah, Greg Popovich, Indiana native.
Yeah. So, and then the Bulls are off for the 2 next days and come back home to play the Trailblazers with no Dame, and they're currently 6 games under.
Last time those 2 teams played, the Bulls blew like a 17-point lead in Portland. Another good test for Vuk against Jurkic. He's become a really good center in the NBA, and I think this is a game where Zach LaVine could put up 40 points. So, but I will say this: watch out for Anthony Simmons on the other side.
He's a star in the making.
I really think that Io is going to have to guard him. But I think this is a game where LaVine could put up 40 points in a night. I really do.
Yeah. Have you heard about any trades possibly? Any trade?
I haven't, and I think the Bulls are in such a sticky position right now because with Caruso and Ball out for about almost 2 months.
Yeah.
Let's say you trade Kobe White, you're stuck with one guard, and that's Io. And we know the Bulls aren't going to trade for another guard; they're going to trade for a forward.
Yeah.
So I think the Bulls are just going to write it out, and they trust P. Will to do his thing. And now maybe they're trying to explore trade options where they don't need to trade P. Will or Kobe. I've heard
they've been trying to get Grant without giving up Williams.
Well, I don't think that's possible. But what I've heard is Rashawn Holmes out of the Sacramento Kings has been a possible candidate. And I heard they're looking at guys like Jeremy Grant, not specifically Grant, but guys that have the same archetype as him. So maybe not as good as him, but they're looking at that forward that can play defense until P. Will comes back or just off the bench in general. So I don't think Kobe White gets traded with all these injuries. I don't think P. Will gets traded now. I don't really know who else would be traded. It's too hard for this Bulls team. Like I said, I think the only guys that have real potential of trade value are, that I could see being traded are Derrick Jones Jr. or Troy Brown Jr. That's really about maybe Timothy Bradley, Tom Bradley, whatever his name is. I don't know who he is, but that's it. Io's untouchable, obviously.
Tony Bradley.
I don't know what the market is for Matt. I like Matt Thomas. I'd love him to stay on the team. I wouldn't trade him. That guy's a sharpshooter. He's a sniper. I would like to keep him on the Bulls.
So I saw this trade on Twitter today.
Oh, Twitter.
And you know how Phoenix didn't re-sign Ayton?
You
No. Hear me out. I really like the trade. It was Ayton, Dario Saric, and Jalen Smith for Vucevic, Patrick Williams, and an unprotected first.
No.
No?
First round pick, no. I'm fine with Vuk. He really spreads the floor for us. P. Will, it's kind of like P. Will for Dario. No, he's better than that. I don't like that trade at all. I think the Bulls are better with Vuk. I like Ayton. He's good down low, but I think the Bulls should be more worried about getting a power forward that could play defense, not a center. I think with how Vukovic stretches the floor, it really allows guys like DeRozan, Levine, and Io even attack inside. And with Ayton, I mean, he can shoot the ball a little bit, but not really. Vukovic, you have to worry about when he shoots the ball.
Yeah.
So I don't like it.
It's just a trade rumor I saw.
I don't like your rumors.
I don't know how I feel.
I don't like your rumors. Why did you say it?
I thought that was interesting. That's okay. So we talked about the Bulls. Let's move on to breaking news of the day. Out of the Chicago Bears, we have a new general manager.
Yeah, wow. I'm pretty shocked, to be honest with you. We thought I had to get hired first. But...
Rumors started last night when George McCaskey was seen walking out of the airport with now general manager Ryan Poles. And what do you think of this hire?
Well, first off, I'm very pissed off that he didn't have like a limo waiting for him or anything. The dude came in like a dad picking up his son from a field trip at the airport. I didn't like that at all. Like, you should have a chauffeur with him. Like, come on. But in terms of the hiring, this was probably one of the best GM hires you could do in terms of who was available. He's worked closely with the Chiefs. I guess the Bears are going to hire people from the Chiefs until it works out. It's got to work out sooner or later. But yeah, I think this is a guy who's worked under some very interesting systems that went under a rebuild. And, I think a lot of the media is really happy about this hiring. And, I think this is big for the Chicago Bears. I think this is something that it's in the right direction of changing kind of like the culture and, the past history of the Bears and how they used to do things. Mm-hmm. And I think this really says that maybe the Bears things are going to be a little different, in Chicago starting in these next couple of years. And the question is, who's going to be the coach? Jim Caldwell's been really linked to him. He's at Halas Hall today. Very interesting because Poles is in Halas Hall probably today as well.
Yeah. Speaking of that, the two probably head candidates right now is Jim Caldwell and Dan Quinn.
Yeah, and I'm really curious what happened to Daboll's. I don't know why. I don't know. I mean, he's a really good candidate, but I'm really curious to meet. I'm not hearing much about him anymore.
I'm thinking Poles wants someone with former head coach experience in there.
I think
it would work out with either Quinn or.
I would take Dan Quinn over Todd Bowles, but you got to remember Todd Bowles, or not Todd Bowles, Jim Caldwell. Yeah. He's not a bad coach. I mean,
he's not.
He was able to coach Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson. Mm-hmm. I believe he was there for some of the Manning days, right? At the end. I might be wrong, but he's made the playoffs a couple of times. But I prefer Dan Quinn because he ran some of the best offense in Atlanta history.
Well, that was also with Kyle Shanahan.
Okay, but still, he had a say in it. But yeah. I would take Dan Quinn over Caldwell. Mm-hmm. Another guy is the guy from the Indianapolis Colts, who's kind of getting a little bit of stock trend. But I think it is Quinn or Caldwell's job to lose right now. The second interview today is for Caldwell, so they obviously like something from him, and they've obviously been able to, examine him from past years when he was with Detroit. And there's probably some things they like about him. And, he had some good offenses too. You got to remember when he was in Detroit, he didn't even have a running back, and his offense was still put up 30 points a game. He had guys like Stafford, Kelvin, Golden Tate, Marvin Jones. I think Marvin Jones Jr. was on that team at the time.
I don't think so.
No?
No, I think he was on Cincinnati at the time. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, right before we get done with this, I just want to say, Poles said, or he's demanding he choose the head coach.
And I think
I think that's awesome.
got to be the case, because why would you want to be the general manager of the team and not make that decision?
That's what happened with
what's the point
Ryan
of being,
Pace.
what's the point of being the general manager when they're not letting you make that choice of who you want to run your football team? So if I were in this position and they're like, yeah, we're going to make the decision for coach, you're just going to support it, I would have left. I would have sued them if I could. Honestly, that's a bunch of BS if they said that to him. So no, this is Poles' team now, and I expect good things from him. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a pick in the first round this year, but he's got a lot of money to work with. He's got a lot of free agents to work with. That can be intriguing for the Bears team. And let's see, maybe that free agents are noticing this as growth for Chicago Bears, a franchise that you want to play with now.
Yeah. So right before we get done with football, let's talk about the divisional round from this weekend. I personally would say it's the greatest divisional round weekend of all time.
I feel like it's the greatest weekend of football of all time, not just
because every single game came down to the last play.
I mean, these games were, the Bengals game wasn't as nuts, but it was crazy. But I mean, the 49ers game was crazy. And then the Rams and Bucks, it was like 27-3. And then obviously with the Bills and Chiefs, that bullshit OT crap, like it's, I don't know. That was, I know a lot of people who had money on these games had to be sweating, because none of the teams were fully in control, really. I mean, all teams had a chance to win.
Yeah. So let me go over the results. So first we had the Bengals at the Titans. Of course, the Bengals won on a last-second field goal, 19-16. And then Saturday night we had 49ers visiting Green Bay.
Yep.
And as we saw, 49ers won on a last-second field goal, 13-10, hopefully ending the career of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Yeah. And then you have anything to say about that?
Let's just hope it is. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. So Sunday we had the Rams in Tampa against the Bucks, and it from the first quarter it looked like it was going to be a blowout, but Tampa Tom, baby, always comes back, scores a late second touchdown to tie the game up, but Matt Stafford had to sling himself out there, throw to the white boy wonder himself, Cooper Kupp.
Boy wonder.
And gets in for the field goal at the last second. So that's 3 for 3 on last second field goals. And then we had the game of the weekend, like everyone thought it would be. Buffalo visiting Kansas City. And that might have been the last 2 minutes of the game, might have been the best 2 minutes of football of all time.
Yeah, it really came out of nowhere. I think, when the Chiefs were up, I believe like 10, and the Bills just came out of nowhere. And I don't know, what happened that night was crazy.
Unbelievable.
That's like a Madden video game, honestly, that shit that was going on.
Gabriel Davis, greatest playoff performance by a wide receiver of all time.
And I mean, I guess you can credit that to Stephon Diggs, because he was the one attracting. No one's focusing on Davis, and
Stephon Diggs had 3 catches for 7 yards.
And obviously, Davis used that to his advantage. He got the weakest secondary out there, because you also have Cole Beasley there.
Yeah. So the results of that said game was Kansas City 42, Buffalo 36 in overtime, where Josh Allen never touched the ball. Now, Jack, what do you think of these overtime rules?
What Josh Allen said is right, and at the end of the day, the Bills defense should have made plenty of stops.
Yeah.
But
just to make it clear, Josh Allen said, if it happened to us, we would be celebrating too.
But at the end of the day, and I think maybe in the regular season it should stay like this, but not in the playoffs. I just don't like the idea of someone's season ending without them getting the chance. And I get it. It would take longer because both teams would get the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
it's playoff football.
You can't let it. I mean, it's really like I'm speechless because like your season ends, you didn't even get a chance. Like,
yeah.
I mean, and he did all he could. And I mean, like I said, it's dumb. That's why college is better than the NFL, low key. But yeah, it's a rule they need to change. I think in the regular season they can keep it, but in the playoffs, I mean, come on, your season's on the line here. Like,
yeah, I agree with that.
Like, you're gonna really do sudden death in like every overtime in every sport, even collegiately. Both teams get the ball when it comes to overtime or extra innings.
Yeah.
Besides one freaking sport. And if they kick a field goal, I guess if they kick a field goal. But that's so dumb. Why is it a field goal? Like, what makes a field goal? Oh, yeah, we'll give them the ball back. But if you score a touchdown, they can't get the ball back because you're afraid the game's going to go on longer. Okay, people are going to want to watch that, though. I just think they need to change that. Every other sport, literally, both teams get a chance to win.
Yeah.
And
I have some proposals for you.
A proposal
of what they could change it to.
I know there's only one thing they need to change it to.
No. There's a couple things. There's a couple things they could do. Okay. So first is the obvious, the college rule, where each team gets a chance at it, and the first team not to score loses. Okay. You like that one, right?
I'm saying it straight up. It should be like this. Both teams get the ball. They kick it off like normal. If your team scores, okay, the other team gets the ball. If they don't score, it's over. If they do score and the game is tied, the other team gets the ball back. Just like that. That's how it should be. It should be a regular.
Okay. I have another proposal. I have another one. I saw this online, of course. How about you play to a certain amount of points?
No, it should literally just be both teams will get a ball. Okay, Chiefs start with the ball. They score a touchdown. The Bills get the ball. Let's say they score a touchdown. Then the Chiefs get the ball back. If they kick a field goal, the Bills get the ball back. And if they kick a field goal, then the Chiefs should get the ball back. If they were to miss that field goal or score a touchdown, the game's over. That's how it should go.
No, I absolutely agree with that.
That's the only.
But they're not going to do that.
But
they're not going to do that.
Someone needs to go kidnap Roger Goodell and hide him or something because that's the most. I'm not saying that word, but it's just dumb. Like it really ruins the game. Like you thought a runner starting on second base and extra innings ruined baseball. This is what's ruining football right now. This rule. I mean, come on now.
Well, speaking of baseball, that's what I wanted to end today's show on.
Oh, we're not going to talk about the football games this week?
We just, you're right.
Last week?
Damn it. Yeah, okay, you're right. So we have the Cincinnati Bengals visiting the Kansas City Chiefs, and who's favorited? Kansas City's favorited by 7.
That's bull. That's BS.
By 7.
BS. I'm taking Bengals money line straight up.
Bengals. I'm going to take Bengals money line too.
I've been on the Bengals all postseason. I have bet on them all postseason. They've won me money, and I do not want to see Jackson Mahomes making more TikTok videos or his wife who poured champagne.
Doused kids, I'm guessing.
Like I can't.
Unbelievable.
I don't even like Patrick Mahomes as it is. But Jackson Mahomes, I'll tell you this: I have some icks in my lifetime, and I have some icks. I hate when girls who are in relationships go to bars and get drinks from other guys and act like they're single. That's an ick.
Do you consider that cheating?
I mean, no, because I don't do anything.
Okay.
No, hold up. Why would you go to the bar? With a guy. Wait, you like a guy, and I get he's not there. There's reasons why he might not be there. And your objective is to go and get drinks from other guys. That's just like, hey, that's just like saying, that's like, oh man, That's like going out with a girl. That's like going out with your girlfriend, and you guys have sex and everything. You have a nice dinner. And she goes, "Yeah, I'm going to my friend's house, Corey's or whatever." That's like the exact same thing. It's like, come on, man. But that's one of my icks. The
Okay.
second icks is when girls don't respond. That shit pisses me off. Just because this is dating app specifically. You swipe right on me. You like me, and if you're not going to message back, what was the point?
I get that.
That's an ick. That's an ick. That's an ick.
Okay.
But wait, no. The third thing is when people do not clean their dishes. I cannot stand when I go to my friends' or family's houses and I see the dishes in the sink. And then my fourth thing is in the progress of Jackson Mahomes popping up on my For You page on TikTok after every freaking Chiefs win I see. Those are my icks right now. And that's becoming one of them, especially if they win against the Bengals. I will delete TikTok if the Chiefs win. I'm saying that right now. I think the Bengals will win though. I think they're the better team. I think they got the better receivers. I think Joe Burrow is living up to the hype, even though I'm not a fan of him. I think that they are feeding off of this energy, and they're America's team this week. Yes. If they don't win, America is screwed. So that's all I'm gonna say. Bye, you Bengals. I hope they win. If they do win, I'm going to the parade in Cincinnati.
Okay, I also have Cincinnati winning. I don't think they'll cover, but I'll take the money line.
You think the Chiefs and the Bengals will win?
The Chiefs, or no, the Bengals.
If they cover, then they win. If you're saying they're winning, they're gonna cover.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, money line. They'll cover.
Do you have the over or under though? It's like 54, right?
I think
it is. I'm not sure.
I'll take the under.
I'm taking the under too. I am taking the under on that as well.
So then we have the NFC Championship, round 3 between these teams. We have the Niners visiting the Rams. And the Rams are favored by 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, I'd comfortably take the Rams spread on this one.
Oh yeah,
I think I told one of my good buddies from high school this. That if it's that if it's the Chiefs and 49ers in the Super Bowl, I'm not watching it.
That'd be scripting it.
The most fun matchup would be probably Chiefs and Rams if Jackson Mahomes was dead, but since he's alive, I think the most fun matchup would be the Bengals and Rams. I think Jamar Chase, Odell, Cooper Kupp, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, all these guys. I mean, just stars. Yeah. Even on the defensive side, you got Bates, you got Hendrickson, you've got obviously Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. Like, I really think, and obviously if the Rams were to win the Super Bowl is at their home stadium.
And that'd be the second year in a row after it never happening before, and the team would be in their own home stadium for the Super Bowl.
And the Rams are limiting to where people can buy tickets.
Yeah, they're not allowing 49ers.
No, I don't think they can do that. I don't think they can do that.
That's wrong.
Well,
you heard what happened week 18 when they played, right? It was filled with 49ers fans.
Oh, I bet. And I don't think that's possible for the Super Bowl if they could do that.
No.
That'd be terrible.
It's because it wouldn't be the Rams stadium. It would be the NFL stadium.
Yeah, but give me Rams money line spread. I'm taking the under as well. I don't think this 49ers offense can really move. And I think this is a good 49ers defense. But at the end of the day, it comes down to who's going to make the plays. And at one end, you have the Triple Crown receiver. At the other end, you have Odell Beckham as well. Even Tyler Higbee, you can look at Van Jefferson. And,
Cam Akers haven't had a great game last game.
I just don't know if Jimmy G's got it left in him. I do think Jimmy G wins this game. I do think he could be traded for like a second round pick if he wins.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. They didn't even score an offensive touchdown against Green Bay. And the Rams have amazing special teams. Their punter is the best punter in the NFL. And Matt Gay, he was hurt a little bit in that game. I don't know what the most recent injury update is on him, but obviously he doesn't have the strength. But at the end of the day, I think this is the Rams game. I think they feel really good about themselves, and obviously Matt Stafford is kind of this is his chance. I don't know if he'll ever get this opportunity again. And I don't want to lessen the 49ers, but I don't know if he's going to get any better, easier opponent than the 49ers. Because I'm going to be honest with you, if it was the Packers, I would take the Packers,
Yeah. So I'm going to be a little boring. I'm going to go with you the same. I'm going to take the Rams, and I'm going to take the under. It's a little boring, but
I change my picks now.
That's what I think.
I have to change my picks after this one.
So let's go on to the last subject of the video, baseball. Finally, we're going to talk about a little bit of baseball. So,
no deal.
The MLB and the MLPA, they finally had more than one meeting in a week. Both sides have been talking about what they want, what they'll be willing to give up, and it's looking like we'll have baseball this year on time. What do you think about it?
I think so. Not yet. There is one part of negotiations where the players and the committee are very, very far apart. The one thing that was very good is that they allowed the younger players to get more money. That was a huge thing because that was kind of one of the biggest things. But the biggest thing is these players are not getting them. They're not like the money they want is not getting granted to them. And according to MLB insider Jeff Passan, the biggest thing that is really, making the players pissed off is the pre-R bonus pool. So basically that's a good thing, but the players are laughing at the $10 million offer, which is it's just way too low. Basically what that means is, so the MLB has agreed to accept it to the perimeters of, the pre-arbitration bonus pool for the top 30 WAR MLPA they're seeking $105 million. The league just offered them only $10 million.
Yeah.
So that's really the biggest thing that is off. And another thing is the MLB offered a minimum to raise to $615,000. The MLPA wants $775,000. So there's a lot of things still left to be done. It's only January. I think the regular season will start on time, but I don't think spring training starts on time.
I think we're gonna get maybe less than half of the spring.
It's a big day for baseball because also the Hall of Fame ballot comes out today.
Yeah, that's true. You think
I'm gonna say this straight up: Barry Bonds should not be in the Hall of Fame. Straight up.
But don't you think the Baseball Hall of Fame is a hall of memories of baseball?
It's a hall of people who played the game the right way. They didn't use any shortcuts and cheating. Same's going to be said about A-Rod when he wants to get in. He shouldn't be in at all. He cheated. He even freaking lied about it. Sammy Sosa lying. He's a terrible player and a terrible person for lying and using PEDs. Mark McGwire cheated. Barry Bonds cheated. Jose Canseco cheated. At the end of the day, if you cheat, I don't care. Pete Rose should be in. Pete Rose did not cheat. He was an amazing player and he played by the rules when he was a player. He's not going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame ever as a coach, as the player he was with the Reds. He never did anything illegal with the Reds. He did illegal things with the Reds manager, but that's different. But I know people say, oh, Barry Bonds, most home runs, most RBIs, greatest this, greatest that. He doesn't do that without the roids. I'm sorry, but
well, you heard why he took them, right? He did it to break the record. So he already had most of his shit before he took it.
It's just that I don't care. Once you put that needle in your ass or on your thigh or wherever it goes, or you take those pills and you get caught, you're done. Why should we celebrate and cherish guys who couldn't play by the rules? You can't. I just don't believe in cheaters. And I say this: you guys want to take steroids? Okay, a guy like Nick Madrigal could put on, if he took steroids, the dude would bat 400 and hit 30 home runs. He's 5'6" and a 200, or not even. I don't even know if he's 200 freaking pounds. No, I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame. He cheated. he was a good player enough to where he didn't have to cheat, and he would have made the Hall of Fame regardless. But at the end of the day, he cheated, and that's not okay. And that's the same thing that should be said with these Astros players. I should not see them in the Hall of Fame. But in terms of this ballot, I do not want to see Barry Bonds on it at all. I hope Mark Burley makes it, though. He deserves it. He didn't cheat, and he threw.
He's not making it. Then.
He threw a perfect game and 2 no-hitters, and he has a World Series ring. But Barry Bonds cheated.
Okay.
You don't think Mark Burley's going to make it?
No.
What?
And that's unbiased.
No, that's totally biased.
We'll talk about our favorite teams in another episode.
That is totally no. For the people I want to know, Carl is a Cubs fan. I am a Sox fan. And that is the most biased take.
No, it's not. Look at the numbers. Okay.
Well,
Wait,
no. He threw 2 no-hitters and a perfect.
We'll talk about it another day.
Oh my gosh.
So that's the end of the episode. Thank you for listening. I'm Carl Liza. As always, that's Jack Thiel. And we'll see you guys later.